Hello and welcome to the post-match show after the fantastic 1-0 win over Derby County. I'm delighted to be joined by former Town midfielder Darren Bullock and ITV reporter Arif Ahmed. How are you both? You okay?
Very good, thank you.
Yeah, well, thanks to you.
Yeah, a lot better after that. Bully, we'll start with you. Obviously, a really good win, a really good second half performance, and ultimately 10 points from the last possible 12.
Yeah, it's a welcome response exactly from Saturday as well. We had to, try and get something at the game this evening, especially going and winning their game the other day, and obviously going there tonight, and obviously at the Town, and we needed to pick up 3 points, and which we have done. Okay, it didn't look very good at the first 20 minutes, 25 minutes, but at the end of the day, 3 points is all that matters at the end.
And for you, obviously, Huddersfield comes close to your heart, isn't it? It must be great for you to see that the club's finally winning games on the bounce. That's 4 unbeaten now in the Championship as well. That must mean a lot to you.
Oh yeah, massively. It's got a very, very special place in my heart, Huddersfield. Always have, always will do. And I find it difficult at times to speak about the Town the way it's gone over the last few years. I'm very passionate, and I can't really say too much. People to be watching this, but it's a very, 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 very close, like I said, to my heart. And I'm just glad we started to pick up results now, and hopefully we can. What's that? Let's push it up to 9th. Is it 8th or 9th?
8th.
8th. Yeah. So like I said, I think there's still a lot more to be done, and there's a lot more that we can produce as well. We're just scratching at the surface at the moment, but fingers crossed we can push on again for the next game and hopefully get some more points on the board.
And Arif, obviously you've been watching Huddersfield Town regularly through your work with ITV. What kind of impact has Carlos Corberán had on this team, and how impressed have you been with his guidance?
I think you're starting to see now his print coming onto the team now. So I think that's something we're beginning to really, really see. And I think something that Bully sort of touched on there is the importance of winning tonight, having won on Saturday, because that just breeds the confidence in the team. And to see that what they're working on in training is sort of coming on in the pitch. And when you see that for the players and seeing what they're working on sort of come to fruition when they're playing, it just breeds that confidence, and that just keeps going and going. And, the work that he's doing is impressive. The work rate that the players are, going up and down the pitch. For me, to see Fraser Campbell sort of on the hour mark flying back to make a tackle when he's seen, someone out of position, or late in the game coming back and helping out. It just shows that everyone's sort of buying into this now, and and the results are sort of, you're seeing that with the results, which is the main pleasing thing for everyone.
I totally agree with you, RF, because at the end of the day, Fraser Campbell didn't get much service really, but the dogging work he done was unreal. Some people don't see the sort of people that does that sort of jobs for you, and like you just said, they're buying into what the manager's trying to do, and it's when you like. You don't chase back, and you don't put a shift in, and then people look at you, supporters look in and say, well, he's not really putting a shift in. But you can see, from 1 to 11, the keeper in the last 10 minutes, all right, he didn't really have much to do, our keeper, but he's made that great save down at the near post, and he's going the other way. In things like that, look, two or three games ago, that was snuffed in and would have been on a downer, but. Like I said, everybody's buying into what they wanted, what the manager wants now. And when you've got the likes of Fraser Campbell chasing back 70 yards into our own half to make a tackle, getting booked as a centre forward is very difficult when you get booked as a centre forward. I know centre forward's tackle, but when them chasing you down, for me, when I used to play that, when the likes of Boothie and Jeppo used to do that, I used to love it because it used to take the pressure off of the people, and everybody wanted to do it the same way, and it was great. It was great to see tonight.
it's selfless, isn't it? It's that
Yeah,
selfless work that, you know, like you say, he didn't have a lot of service. He could have sulked.
yeah,
He could have
yeah,
stood there throwing his arms up at everyone, but you got stuck in, got involved, and you know, when you're seeing that from the experienced player of Fraser
yeah.
Campbell, the younger boys are going to buy into that, and that just breathes through the club, and then breeds that confidence that we talked about.
That's spot on. And look we said, you know, when you get people like that who do it, and like you said, he gets no service, and he's there to score goals. He probably he could say, well, I ain't here to run back. I ain't here to chase 70 yards to think I'm here to score your goals. But when you got somebody doing that, you're 70, 80% there, and now they've got to just push on and push on. Don't think, oh, it's arrived, because it's not. There's still a lot of hard work to do. There's still and there's a lot of aspects of the game that they can all improve on. But I noticed this evening, and I noticed on Saturday, that when I watched bits of the replay on Saturday, it was so much sideways. We got it into people a little bit more. Got it forward a lot quicker. And for me, you know, anybody can look football. Anybody can look good playing sideways and backwards. But it's when it's the end product. And once you get to the end product, which is scoring goals, you get 3 points, or if you go away from home, you get a point. That's a good product of football. Not about looking good playing sideways all the time.
It's like you said there, Bully. It's about breaking the lines, isn't it? And
yeah,
that was evident with the goal that we scored. A fantastic move.
Yeah. You know, it was, you know, the kids, the left back, Tofola, oh, I can't think of his name.
Tofola.
Yeah, he's made a great run. He's done it Saturday as well. He's made a great run. And to be honest with you, he could have smashed that, really. But he's obviously took a chance. He's pulled it back, and McKenna's knocked it in great. And to be honest with you, coming onto balls like that, you can sky those sorts of shots. But he's just stroked it in the goal, and it was a fair goal. But I like I said, I like the way we played tonight. I like the right back. That was the first time. Until he got injured and went off. I liked him in the first half. He was their best player for the first half, I thought. You know, he looked good. He looked well going forward. We got a big centre half. The big centre half at the back. He looks a decent player. And obviously, like you said, clean sheet again, and it breeds confidence. And at the end of the day, that's all you can ask for.
It's the fullbacks, isn't it? It's just the fullbacks that you can see are so important to Carlos here.
Yeah.
And the fact that the way they're going, especially with the goal as well, the fact they went from back to front.
Yeah.
And quickly, I was really impressed with the 1-2 touch, get it forward, and like you touched on there, Bully, he could have had a shot. Toffolo could have seen where he was, got his head up and smashed it, and it could either top corner or rose ahead. But it's that awareness that he can play it back, and Bakuna's finish was superb.
Like you said, like you just said, they're buying into what he does. Like 6-7 weeks ago, he'd have smashed that, and then it turned around, and they all said, "Oh, what's going on there?" And he just wouldn't have cared really. But I think they're more trying to do the same sort of things now, and it was nice to see, and it just. I hope we continue, and I hope they buy into what the manager wants for the rest of the foreseeable future, and we can push on.
I was going to say there, Arif. Obviously, Harry Toffolo, you're a massive fan of his. He's come on loads, especially this season under Carlos. But the composure, the runs that he's making now, are absolutely fantastic. And like we said, to lift his head up and pick out Juninho Bacuna as a left back, it's fantastic.
Yeah, you know, for ITV, we cover sort of Yorkshire, North Lincolnshire. So Lincoln City comes into one of the teams we follow. And when he was there, when he signed there, you know, when they got promoted from League 2 to League 1, he was a massive part for them. And just speaking to him when he was at Lincoln, the confidence he has, the love for football, really, that he has. And he's such as a person, as a human being, I'm sure you'll know, Sam, he's just so down to earth and just loves the game. And I'm so pleased for him. The fact how well he's progressed at Huddersfield, you know, it's another step up League 2, League 1 to Championship. And it's great that he's thriving and he's playing so well. I just want to ask, Bully, how important is that as a player that, you know, when you're getting that confidence and a manager or people are coming to you, putting an arm around you and, you know, showing how good you are, and that just raises your confidence level again.
Yeah, of course. Yes, it's massively. It's totally different now. I must admit, it's a lot different to what it was when I played many years ago. Sometimes you know, nowadays you get your arm around you and say well done and keep going, and I know you're trying to do the right things in this, that, and that. But years ago, you had different ways. You had somebody put your arm around you, somebody give you a kick up the backside, somebody do this or that. Yeah, it was the way you handled stuff. Like me, somebody put an arm around me and say, "Well," and I look at them and say, "What are you doing?" Well, I'd rather get a kick. I'd rather get a kick up the backside. It was different, but it do breed confidence. When the manager comes to you, or the assistant manager, Mick Jones used to do a lot with me, and he'd go, "Buddy, come on, you better, you know." And that's me, buddy. This is the way you are. That's you. You're not a pretty player. You're not a this, that, anyway. This is your job. This, and it used to spur me on. And that was what it. Sometimes with the likes of Boothie, you needed an arm around him at times, and give him a like, cuddle and say, "Come on, Boothie, you this, that," and he'd produce you. It was just a way. But like you said, you know, people confidence. If you're winning and you're confident in your own ability as well as your mates around you, and if you're all buying into the same sort of football that you're all doing it together, you won't go far wrong. You won't go far wrong. And at the end of the day, I don't care what anybody says. You can be the best player in the world. You can be the best team in the world. But if you haven't got that togetherness, you ain't got that will to win with each other, you ain't going to go far. You know, it's proven. You can be the best player in the world, but you still need 10 players by the side of you to make sure you're that top player, really, to be honest with you. Because if it ain't the likes of, when I used to play, it was on the likes of myself, and Tommy Cow and all that, the likes of Boothie and people wouldn't have made what they made. So this is what I'm trying to say to people. It's not just about an individual player. Yeah, they take the plaudits and they take the thank yous and everything. But if it wasn't for the doggy players like myself and Tommy Cowans and people like that, then, you know, that's part and parcel of football. But it was great. And the last thing I would say is I'm so pleased for, obviously, the club, the way it's starting to come back, but it's mainly for the supporters, this. And I feel for the supporters, because they've gone through a hell of a lot of crap in the last few months. And the last few games has been for them, and I'm so pleased for them and the club.
Yeah, absolutely. And one player for me that you can see is brimming with confidence at the moment is Ben Hamer. Like you said earlier, Bully, he made an excellent save with 5 minutes to go just to tip Dwayne Holmes' shot, obviously out for a corner. As a goalkeeper now, 2 clean sheets at home. You can see, can't you, within him, he feels more confident out there, and he's ultimately saving games, saving points.
Arif, I totally agree, but I just think as a keeper, you know, if you've got clean sheets, i.e. you're keeping your back 4 or your back 3 or whatever they want to play, once that it do breed confidence, and then people, if you find it difficult, then people find it difficult to try and break you down then. But when you're conceding goals left, right, and centre, it seems every time somebody attacks you, they're going to score, or looks like they're going to score. But now it looks as though it breeds confidence, and it shores a lot of things up. And at the end of the day, you know, like we always say, is clean sheets for a keeper or a back 4 is great, but 3 points at the end of the day, it builds confidence, and you just push on to the next game.
There was a few nervy moments sort of when we're playing out from the back, but that's obviously that's going to come, and that's something that was maybe alien to the club 6 months ago. But to be doing that, it's going to take time. There will be the few odd passes that go astray, or you put yourself under pressure. But for me, which I was really impressed with, Ben, was when the first couple of minutes when the corners were coming in, and obviously he'd been at Derby last year, so they sort of maybe seen what they perceived a weakness, and they put all the players over him.
Yeah.
And there was one where he came and he was confident and he punched it clear.
Yes.
That for him would have just made him feel 10 foot tall, and then the saves he made.
Totally agree with you. I totally agree.
And just on the goalkeeper in the defence, even in the last 10 minutes when Derby were throwing numbers forward, there was a calmness, I thought, at the back. You know, maybe towards last season there would have been a nerviness, and
it would panic.
Retreated more. But there seemed to be a calmness. Everyone knew their role. Everyone knew what they were doing. Had their man, and they just felt confident that they knew whatever Derby was going to throw at them.
Yeah.
They
we
could
squeezed
deal
up.
with.
We squeezed as well. We squeezed up because last year, in the last probably up until a couple of games ago, we'd have sat as deep as possible and invited everybody. But we squeezed. And at the end of the day, when you're doing that, you 1-0 up. The best ball in football is turn the left back and the right back and just squeeze the ball. It's the best way to do it. Instead of trying to pass it, anybody can pass the ball out, but it's you trying to pass the ball in your own box when you can send it 60 yards and squeeze the ball. That's the best way in football for me. But at the end of the day, we looked comfortable. And like I said, the keeper's made a great save in the last 10, 15 minutes. And we've had, because after that, apart from the end of the kid, when I think they all said they said it was a good effort. I think it's him on the head and at the post. He ain't guided that towards, because that come across 100 miles an hour. But you never know. But I just think apart from that, they didn't look like they was going to bother us. To be honest with you, you know, and like you said, whether it's Huddersfield that's breathing confidence and the manager's installing it into the side. We'll see in the next few games in the foreseeable future.
I think as well, very quick. Sorry, Adam.
Yeah, no, of course.
If you compare the two keepers, Marshall looked very nervous as well. There was that one moment when he came out and I think it was Mbenze, and they both sort of stopped and looked at each other and forgot about the ball. There's just that difference in the two. You could see Ben just seemed to have that awareness, that just being comfortable and knowing what he was doing. And if you just compare them two, I just think it just one where both clubs are at and just where both defences were at during the game.
Yeah,
I wanted to mention the three centre halves. Obviously, Christopher Schindler came on, Richard Stearman and Naby Sarr. Naby Sarr has obviously been an excellent signing to solidify the defence, but also left-sided centre half, left-footed centre half. He was pinging some fantastic passes through the lines as well. How solid, Arif, do you think the back three, or Richard Stearman and Naby Sarr, or even previously, obviously, Christopher Schindler and one of those two look? Because for me, defensively, they look fantastic.
I was really impressed with Naby Sarr. I would say it's probably the first game I've properly watched and analysed of Huddersfield, and he really impressed me. There was some naivety maybe in some of his tackles and some of his passes early on, maybe just calming himself down. But to have that sort of experienced man next to him, the Schindler and Stearman next to him, just to sort of keep him right and keep talking to him. But some of the passes of the balls, he's very confident on the ball. And in Carlos's sort of way to play out when you're playing from the back, you need to have that. And like you say, some of the balls he was spraying about, I couldn't think of maybe more than 2 or 3 that didn't hit the man.
Yeah, I totally agree. He's a bit of a beast, isn't he? He's a big fella, you know. And you know, as you play, and you got Schindler as well coming back in, and it looked good. And he did. Like I said, and I totally agree with that. He looked a bit nervous, and he looked a bit more tentative, like of getting to the pace of the game. But after about 10, 15 minutes, he settled down, and I thought after that, he had a fantastic game. As did all the side, to be honest. So like I said, it doesn't matter. You don't have to be pretty. You don't have to be the best. It don't have to look good. It's the end of the day. You wake up tomorrow morning, you got 3 points, and that's it. That's all that matters.
And with Naby as well, it shows at both ends of the pitch as well. You know, he's got that presence. That you've got that confidence in both boxes. One he can head clean, the other he could head in.
Yeah,
and that's what you need. And
yeah, of course, totally agree.
And in the second half, I think for everyone watching, the first half, Derby, in my eyes, did a really good job on Huddersfield Town. It says a lot when Derby come and try and stop Huddersfield Town playing, but then immediately to come out in the second half, look a different side and change the momentum of the game. I think that's one of the biggest learning points for me, is how well Huddersfield Town then reacted to what Derby were doing in the second half and came out the trap so fast, Arif.
Yeah, they seemed to adapt to sort of how, or they found a way to penetrate through Derby. Like you say, the first half, I thought, you know, Derby pushed forward, stopped Huddersfield playing, and then there was a lot of sideways, backwards, just trying to find that way through. But in the second half, there was that intensity, I thought. You know, whatever Carlos has said to them has clearly worked. You know, straight away they were at them, they were going forward, they were finding more space. And I think that's crucial, that you can work teams out during a game. You know, there is a plan B, there's an adaptation to the way you play, because you can, and you've seen many times, not just with Huddersfield, with loads of teams, they've got one way of playing, and when that doesn't work, they just keep trying it, and it gets frustrating, probably as players and for fans and people watching. But it's pleasing to see that on the pitch they're adapting, they're finding ways to break through, and it showed with the goal.
Yeah, you're right there. You're right there, Alice, because I totally agree with you there, because Huddersfield, for me, up until probably the last couple of weeks, it was sideways, backwards, sideways, backwards, sideways, backwards. There was no penetration. And when they did get penetrate, when there was penetration, it was too slow. You know, it allowed defences in midfield to get back. It was too slow. But tonight, it was it looked it, but it was in, out, and get it forward, in, out, and join in. And it looked good. It looked better, you know, because it looked quicker, and it looked as though every time we went forward, we could press the ball, and we looked like we could make chances as we went forward. But like I said, up until the last few weeks, we seem to move the ball a lot quicker. And I think, like you said, I think that they're buying into the manager's way of playing, and I think it's suck people in and then move the ball quickly and get in behind people. And I think they're doing that very well at the moment.
And that's something that's quite important, isn't it? That what you picked on there, going forward, every time Huddersfield went forward, they looked dangerous.
Yeah.
If it was Toffolo, if it was people on the right, or Toffolo on the left, or, you know, Eiting or Mbenza, or, you know, whoever it was going forward, they looked like they could create something. In the pace in the squad is something that they're using, in the fitness as well. You know, to be in the 90th minute or something, and you see Bakuna driving forward, trying to play in O'Brien, I think it was. You know, it just shows the fitness and the speed of the team is going to hurt a lot of teams.
Yeah, you're right. But say a month ago, Bakuna wouldn't have done that. You see, understand? He wouldn't have done that. He would have said, "Oh, come." He would have basically said, "I ain't chasing that back." The same as like we said about Campbell. He wouldn't have chased the ball back. But that, like I said, obviously people's perception of the manager, he only says what goes on the training pitch, and then what he produces, what he puts onto the pitch. They don't look at what he has to do behind the scenes and what he has to do. And if, like you said, if the club, with obviously they've got, but if the players buy into what he wants to do and they all stick together, then you do get the rewards. You do. But it's like anything. If you get a bad apple, or you get a bad fruit in one thing in one side, it will spread a disease. But if you can get it all right, whether you ain't going to be the best, you ain't going to be the best players, you ain't going to be the best side in the world. But if you've got that togetherness, it don't have to drive you to places where you wouldn't have thought you could go. It's madness. It's crazy. But, and like I said, I like to see. I love watching Huddersfield play and win. But I hate seeing them when they're on a bad place, and which they have been over the last few months. And what I mean, it drives me to tears at times, because I feel as though I just want to put my boots back on and come and play, to be honest with you. But I'll probably last about a minute in the way the referees looks at me at the moment, so that'll be the end of me.
But for you, Bully, obviously, like we said, just finally, obviously 10 points from the last possible 12, 4 games unbeaten, back-to-back wins for the first time since February. It's all starting to look up now, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and may it continue. And like I said, you know, hard work breeds success. And the biggest thing for me is it's there for the fans, because they deserve it, because they stick with that fantastic club through thick and thin, and they go through a hell of a lot of down times. All right, we've had the good times when we're in the Premiership. We've picked up great results against Man U's and all them sort of sides. But when you're in a when you're in the down part of football, those supporters stick with you through thick and thin. They always have, they always will, and I'm glad it's starting to turn now and may continue.
Yeah,
especially.
Sorry, Ari.
No, it's just especially now in the period with the games are coming thick and fast now, especially in the Championship with midweek games, 3 games a week now. To get them 2 positive results off the back of each other, it's just going to drive them. And when you're playing so much so quickly, you just want to play, I guess, Bully.
Arif, you're right, because you're right. You look forward to going to training tomorrow or the next day. You look forward to it. You go into training with a smile on your face, and you're bubbly and you're chirpy and whatnot. Whereas if you've been battered and you've lost again, your head, you go in, your head's on the floor, but they'll be bubbling there. They'll be what? I can't wait to get into training tomorrow, or we can't wait. Whereas you go, oh bloody hell, we're going to stay an extra 20 minutes, but they'll be bubbling. They want to do it, and that's what it does. It's a weird thing to have, and when you do win, and you can sense the happiness and the belief around the club then and around the players, and you believe in yourself, and that's what it does. It's mad, but that's how it does it. It's good. It's a good feeling, but it's a mad feeling.
And I'm sure there'll be many Huddersfield Town fans who are watching this that will be absolutely delighted. Bully, Arif, thank you very much for joining us. And long may this kind of form continue. Thank you both.
Yes, you're so welcome, Adam. See you, Arif. Take care, boys. All the best.